Hey everyone, I'm working on my iPad, and that's important because I'm about to show you a feature that shows up on your phone, on your iPad, and if you're working on the computer, not in Lightroom mobile, but if you have the app downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these flowers images I took, and here's the cool feature I want to show you. We've showed you there's the editing toolbar over here, but there's some other stuff here that we haven't really been talking about. You know about cropping. But what are these things? There's this healing brush tool, and there's this thing right here called masking. Well, we're going to start with the masking tool, and forgive me if my screen's a little wobbly here. But when I click on the masking tool, which is this little circle over here, and again, I'm working in my iPad. By the way, you can also do this on your cell phone. You just can't do it on the computer if you have Lightroom downloaded. If you hit the little plus down here at the bottom that shows up, so again, I start by clicking on this, and then the plus comes up. And then it gives me these options, right? So I can do all these different things. Select subject, select sky are kind of new. The ones I really focus on for students who are just learning this are brush, linear gradient, and radial gradient. I think what I'm going to do is just show you with the brush. That's the simplest one. And when I click with the brush, this pops up over here. Okay, so there's three things you can control. You can control the size of the brush. You can see the brush gets bigger or smaller. Okay. You can control how much the brush, it's called like feathering, or so the brush can have like a sharp edge, or the brush can kind of smooth out. And you can control its transparency. So it's like how intense is the brush doing what it's doing. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. Actually, I don't have to move it. It's just showing me the size of the brush. So I'm over here. And if I start drawing, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's like a red that kind of pops up. That red is kind of showing me where the masking is taking place. And what that means is that's the only area that's going to be applied. So the red is where something's going to happen, and where it's not red, something's not going to happen. It's not actually red. You can actually see there's my mask layer right here. And this is where something's going to happen. The rest of it's all blacked out, meaning it's not going to happen. If I've gone too far with the mask, you can see once I've masked, I can come back over here with the eraser tool. And again, same deal. I can take that eraser tool and I can change its size. I can change its feather. I can change its opacity. And so I can come back in and I can kind of gently sort of erase some of this where it went over into the material. Okay, so right now the flower is the only thing that is being revealed in the mask. So what's the big deal, right? Well, if I come over with light, I can change the exposure, contrast, whatever, and you see it's only affecting whatever is in that mask. And that mask is active because it's got that little blue brush on it. So if I have multiple masks, you might start seeing other brushes, but the one that's highlighted in blue is the one that's going to show up. So I can take this and play around with it and mess with it and do different things to it. Here's what's also cool about this. So currently, my mask is the flower. Watch this. I'm going to come over here and click on this little tool right here. What is this, right? So I'm going to click on it, and I don't know if you just saw that, but look at what just happened there. That's the inversion tool. So watch this when I click on the inversion tool. See? Now it's reversed. So you're like, okay, what did that do? Well, now if I mess with this, it's messing with the image, but it doesn't mess as much with the flower. It's messing with the background because now the background's masked out. So I can invert my mask and I can do all kinds of things to it. So if I wanted to, I could like come down and I could say, you know what, I'm going to get rid of all the color just in the background. And maybe I'm also going to come back here and just kind of play around with the contrast a little bit here, just in the background, and I'm leaving the flower kind of alone. If I feel like the flower is getting a little bit too washed out too, well, no problem. I'll come back in and erase that mask, and now there's my flower again. See? Because it was too much, so I added more back in, and now my flower is the only thing that happens. By the way, be careful if you move this brush around. It's moving the mask. So I have to put that back. I find that kind of annoying, actually. That's a little bit of a flaw, in my opinion, about what Lightroom does. But there's my flower again. So I can make a really, really cool image doing that. And now that I'm done, I'm going to hit done and go to my versions, and it looks like I already created a version a while ago, so I'll create another version, and I'll call this one 2, create, and I can download that and show that off. But pretty easy to use, so check it out.